Thank you for that kind introduction. And I'd also like to thank Kolbe for the honorary doctorate they're giving me today. No? It was worth a shot. I'd like to thank the administration for inviting me to be the faculty commencement speaker this year. Like many of you, when given a writing assignment, I changed my topic 3 times, and I was still working on it this morning. Because you never stop tinkering, but I'm truly grateful for this honor. I'm completing my 9th year here teaching for Kolbe, but before today, I'd only ever met 2 other teachers and 1 student. So today I've gotten to meet a lot of people for the first time, and I've heard a lot, "Wow, you're really tall." Yes, I know. True story, last week I went to buy a jacket for the occasion. The store didn't have any that fit me. And this is my life. I've also had students asking me, "Are you going to do any accents or impressions today?" I'm going to prove to you all that I can speak for 20 consecutive minutes-ish without doing any. We'll see. They're laughing at me. They know that's not true. I know quite a few of you have been with Kolbe for several years, and I've had the privilege to teach a number of you, sometimes for several years in a row. I apologize for all the recycled jokes. I've had a front row seat to watching you be molded into the people that you are, into people who love the good, the true, and the beautiful, and hopefully had a little bit of a hand in that. I've been thinking back on changes and events in the world during your time at Kolbe, and depending on how long you've been a Kolbean, a Kolbite, a Kolbanian, depending on how long you've been at Kolbe, you've witnessed things like 7 different NBA champions in a row, a couple of Taylor Swift albums, a moon launch, a new pope, the advent of AI, which has gone from a mediocre Steven Spielberg movie to the bane of teachers and administrators everywhere. These last few things fit together somewhat. We've seen what great things technology can help us achieve, but we're also becoming aware of some of the challenges that technologies can pose. And we have a new pope who is keenly aware of these things. Pope Leo XIV has stated that he chose his regnal name as a callback to Pope Leo XIII, who authored the great encyclical Rerum Novarum of New Things. Pope Leo noted that just as Leo XIII's time saw a tremendous change in society due to the Industrial Revolution, so we seem to be on the brink of some tectonic shifts in our society with the advent and growth of artificial intelligence. In fact, it's been announced that Pope Leo's first encyclical will be on this very subject. And I want to thank him for delaying it until next week and giving me first crack at it. Although if I say anything that ends up contradicting him, I take it all back. I will give him the first word, though. In an address to participants at a conference on AI, Pope Leo said, "Human beings are called to be co-workers in the work of creation, not merely passive consumers of content generated by artificial technology. Our dignity lies in our ability to reflect, choose freely, love unconditionally, and enter into authentic relationships with others. Artificial intelligence has certainly opened up new horizons for creativity, but it also raises serious concerns about its possible repercussions on humanity's openness to truth and beauty, and capacity for wonder and contemplation. Recognizing and safeguarding what characterizes the human person and guarantees his or her balanced growth is essential for establishing an adequate framework for managing the consequences of artificial intelligence. In this regard, we must pause and reflect with particular care upon the freedom and inner life of our children and young people, and the possible impact of technology on their intellectual and neurological development. The new generations must be helped, not hindered, on their path to maturity and responsibility. The well-being of society depends on their ability to develop their talents and respond to the demands of the times and the needs of others with generosity and freedom of mind. The ability to access vast amounts of data and information should not be confused with the ability to derive meaning and value from it. The latter requires a willingness to confront the mystery and core questions of our existence, even when those realities are often marginalized or ridiculed by the prevailing cultural and economic models. It will therefore be essential to teach young people to use these tools with their own intelligence, ensuring that they open themselves to the search for truth, a spiritual and fraternal life, broadening their dreams and the horizons of their decision-making. We support their desire to be different and better, because never before has it been so clear that a profound reversal of direction is needed in our idea of maturing." End quote. I think we here at Kolbe are doing a pretty good job with this. If our two student speakers are any measure of that, I think we're doing an amazing job at this. One of my favorite things about our curriculum and our pedagogical approach at Kolbe Academy is that when we get our papers out of order, no, there we go. Sorry. As Holden noted, is that we are concerned not just with information, but with formation. We're not just filling your heads with facts. We are trying to help to mold you into the kind of person who knows that God is our highest good and who finds joy in that and seeks out the contemplation of God. And every discipline we teach is a flying buttress in support of that edifice. Literature plumbs the depths of human experience. Science helps us to understand the orderliness of God's creation. Math is sorcery as far as I'm concerned. But I know that's a failing on my part. Sorry, Mrs. Powers. But through your years here, you've been equipped with the tools to face the challenges of the world. You've formed a mind that can perceive, reflect on, and desire the good, the true, and the beautiful. But a certain temptation looms out there. We have machines and programs that have gotten very good at certain kinds of thinking tasks. A large language model can generate an essay within a few seconds. An artificial intelligence agent can summarize the key points of your virtual meeting, or come up with a tailor-made exercise program for you, or spot cancers on an MRI. ChatGPT can write jokes on any subject in the style of your favorite comedian. My daughter Dahlia likes to ask Siri to tell her a joke, and Siri usually has a set of standard dad jokes to pull from. But you know what we call a comic who only tells cliche jokes? A hack. This is because humor is a function of intellect. Aristotle says that risibility, or a sense of humor, is a function of intelligence. Apes do not come up with one-liners. Walruses do not pull pranks. At least not that I've ever seen. Humor is an intellectual exercise, and intellect is the property of a person, a subject. To have knowledge, you have to have one who knows. Intellect, inter legere, to read between. It's the capacity of a subject to read between the lines of our sense experience and get down to the essences of things. It's a metaphysical property, not a merely physical one. And this is the province of persons, because intellect is relational and persons are relational, and the truth itself is relational. St. Thomas Aquinas defines truth as the adequation of the mind to reality. When the relation between the idea in my head and the reality out there syncs up, I have the truth. Truth is relational and personal. In fact, truth is a person. As Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. Maybe that's why ChatGPT keeps getting caught making things up, because it doesn't know the truth. It can't know the truth. Which should make us all the more nervous when there's also talk of certain defense capabilities even being handed over to AI agents. I've seen that movie. Skynet is built by Cyberdyne Industries, and it goes on, and it creates the Terminators, which then go back into time. I couldn't help it, I'm sorry. I'm sure we can think of many other doomsday examples of technology gone bad. HAL 3000, Cybermen, Ultron. The track record in movies and TV is not good. Now, I need to state clearly here, I'm not speaking against technology in general. I love fire, the wheel, air conditioning, online schools, spaceships, GPS. GPS is a good example of this. A GPS system, Google Maps, or a sat-nav if your kids grew up on Peppa Pig or Bluey. is a tool to get us from point A to point B and not at point, shouldn't we have been there by now? A guidance system can, well, guide us. But if I only absent-mindedly follow the sat-nav's directions without paying attention to where I'm going or how I'm getting there, I will never learn the lay of the land myself. I will become disconnected from the area I inhabit. I won't know where I am. I will be lost. A machine can help us to do work, or it can do work for us. If I use a tractor to till the ground, I am still doing the work of driving the tractor, but it's tilling the ground. It's helping me to do work, but I'm still involved in the process. If I press a button that turns on a factory and the assembly line is manufacturing widgets or cars or special edition K-pop Demon Hunter action figures, whatever it is, I'm not making those items. The machine is. It's doing the work for me. My son Caleb, at one point a few years ago, told me he wanted to be a boxer. He's 11, so he's got time to figure it out. But I told him, if you want to be a boxer, number one, people are going to punch you in the face. Are you sure that you want to do that for a living? But number two, you'll have to exercise. You'll have to regularly run, lift weights. He was not a fan of that, and he thought, well, I'll just make a robot to do it for me. I said, if the robot does it for you, you're not going to get any stronger. I could use a machine like an elliptical or a butterfly press to assist me in making my body stronger. But if I simply turn on the elliptical, or if I have a robot run on the elliptical for me while I sit back and sip on a Sioux City sarsaparilla, which is a pretty good one, will that have any effect on me? No. The miles will have been run, but I will not have been the one to run them. The machine is doing the work, but the work has no effect on me. It achieves nothing for me. I can think of another conversation with my daughter, Daisy. One day we were driving in the car, and Daisy said something that gave me a chill up my spine. She said, "Dad, you have a lot of gray in your hair." After that, she said, "Dad, the future will be great. Machines can do everything for us." So I put on my Socrates hat and started asking her some questions. Would you really want robots to do everything for you? You like to read. Do you want a robot to read the book for you? Then you won't have read the book. What are you going to do with your time if the robot's doing everything for you? Daisy clarified that robots can do the boring work like washing cars, was her example. And then we'd have time for more interesting things. Now, she has a point. In some cases, machines doing some work for us can be good. Advances in technology can create more time for leisure. And as we know, leisure is the basis of culture. So when my dishwasher is washing my dishes for me, I can use that time to compose a song, or write a poem, or build a replica of the Burj Khalifa out of popsicle sticks. You know, art. But what if I use an AI chatbot to write the song for me, or have a 3D printer construct the skyscraper for me? Then I'm letting the machine do not only menial work, but now the work that was supposed to be ennobling me. Well, then what do I do with myself? I may well end up taking that time, gifted to me by the dishwasher, and utterly waste it by doom scrolling through social media, or watching endless cat videos on TikTok, or building a replica of the Burj Khalifa out of popsicle sticks. You know, wastes of time. Technology should ennoble us, not enable us, not enable the worst in us. It should assist us in pursuing our proper ends and not facilitate our descent into more animal-like behaviors. If I let the machine do the thinking for me, it's doing the human stuff. If I then only go and satisfy my sensate impulses and urges, I'm doing the animal stuff. If we're not careful, we can let the machines take away all that makes us human. Even so-called menial work can be ennobling. A Roomba might save me time and be a fun word to say, but there's something virtuous about me at least putting in the effort to run the vacuum across the floor and ensure a clean living space for my family. That might be more of a gray area. I don't expect Pope Leo to write a follow-up letter contra Roombae, whatever it might be. We can turn to technology too much to satisfy our desires. Some philosophers have tried to say that we are only satisfaction-seeking machines, just ones made out of flesh and bone. But we are not machines, because machines only do what they're programmed to do. A corn picker picks corn. A corn picker will not stop and pose the question, why should I pick corn? Do I want to pick corn? Wouldn't I rather pick a flower instead? It's hard for people to conceive of things working any other way. I had a candidate in the OCIA a few years ago who was struggling with a particular theological question. He said, I don't know why we vilify Satan. If he turned against God, it must have been because God put something in him that made him do that. It must have been part of his makeup, right? And I said, no, because we, like the angels, have freedom. The freedom to make choices. I think your problem, I said to him, I think your challenge here is that you're an engineer. And so everything kind of in your world of work is about inputs and outputs. Whatever comes out is a function of what goes in, but that's not what we are. We are not solely machines. We're not all about inputs and outputs. We have the ability to reflect on our desires, to question them, to deny them or delay them or seek some higher good. When we let machines do our thinking for us, when we let the algorithm determine what brand of chips we buy or what song we listen to, then we're surrendering our capacity to think and to choose. We hand over our will and our intellect, the very things that make us creatures made in God's image. The future becomes some dystopian version of a Yakov Smirnoff joke. Anyone remember Yakov Smirnoff? Soviet, right? Okay, there we go. Thank you, right? You don't use technology. Technology uses you, right? There, you guys got two, okay? That's all we're getting. Our clicks and our screen hours feed content farms, and we essentially become batteries for a machine empire kept pacified by a false virtual world that we inhabit. Are we really so far off from the Matrix? Whoa. Technology can be a good servant, but it is always a tyrannical master. It offers us boring comforts, but as Laura reminded us, we are not made for comfort, but for greatness, for excellence, for the exercise of our vital powers, our human faculties. And as human beings living here in the material world, which is also the name of an underrated George Harrison album, check it out if you haven't, we are given an extraordinary gift, even one above the angels. We can sub-create, as Pope Leo made reference to. And this is a term coming from J.R.R. Tolkien's essay on fairy stories. Human beings are sub-creators. We take things of this world and we make new things. We take stone and turn it into bridges and monuments. We take water and make igloos and steam engines. We take trees and turn them into chairs and houses and popsicle stick recreations of the Burj Khalifa. We make things imitating the one in whose image we are made. We do this in our own particular embodied way. AI-generated works are faceless and nameless. You have names. You have faces. My former students are, I'm sure, remember me saying, can you come on the camera occasionally so I know that you're a human being with a face, right? Yes, I've seen nods, Yep, and now I see your faces. You are human beings. You are persons. You are artists. I know that many of you are already exercising those creative powers. I loved getting to hear from our Kolbe students about the things that they're into and up to. Composing songs, writing novels and poems, painting, drawing, knitting, raising animals, creating moments on the playing field or on the dance floor. Keep at it. Keep doing the human things. Keep doing what God made you to do. I may have cast a bit too much doom and gloom here today, but all of that was a preface. We're about to have the eucatastrophic moment where we go from the dark to the light. Do not be afraid. You have the opportunity to go out and create, to make something in the world that wasn't there before. An invention, a novel, a child, a new mental world for another person that you are teaching and guiding and counseling. You will be able to step into the brave new world that we face and not fall to the temptation of the modern day serpents who try to entice us with the supposed power to choose for ourselves what is good or evil, to create our own reality. You can use the tools without letting the tools use you. You'll be able to explore without getting lost. You'll be the employee who actually writes their own reports. You'll be the person who reads a book and can understand it. You can carry on like Kolbe alumnus Father Paul Hedman, who patrols social media and responds to any Catholics posting AI images with a picture of Pope Leo holding a baseball bat and the tagline, "Delete this AI slop." I asked him for permission. He said I can mention that. You have been equipped to go into the world without losing your humanity. You've been educated, informed, and molded, we hope, to grasp and to grok what is good and true and beautiful, to desire it and seek it and take joy in finding it. Keep up that pursuit. Because if you do, you will find, in fact, that you are the one being pursued, that God is pursuing you, hoping to catch you up into his arms like a loving father. Congratulations. God bless you all as you take your steps on this next journey.